So I've been thinking this morning as I'm walking, actually even before I went for a walk, about my relationship with the divine. And I think that as I'm studying spiritual science as a master's course, which I've almost finished actually, very exciting, there's an invitation within that group to really embody God, I suppose, the divinity, so that we see ourselves, it's not that we become, we already are, but we see ourselves as divine beings. And when we see ourselves as divine beings, we actually see the world then through the eyes of the divine. And of course the divine for me represents love. And I think it probably is love anyway. And so then when you take that down to the 3D level, of kind of here in the body, in the reality of being human, and the messiness of being human, and the human mess and all the rest of that, is we have all sorts of thoughts that can be lovely and can be very kind, and they can also be very judgmental. And when we're seeing the world through judgmental eyes, we're not seeing the world through divinity, because through divinity and through love there is no judgment. And what I remembered this morning really, is that when we judge someone else, it's just a judgment in us. So if I decide that somebody does something that I don't like and therefore I have an opinion about them, there's absolutely part of me that's involved with that. So there's a reflection back to my own insecurities, to my own unworthiness, to my own not good enough. And I just really offer the opportunity then and I think we all do it. I'm sure we all do it. I'm sure I'm not alone in this. And so I feel like it offers an opportunity to remember and reconnect to that divinity inside us. And then we can send them love as opposed to judgment. And moreover than anything else, we can send ourselves love rather than judgment. And I think it's so helpful to just really be in that place. It kind of really raises your vibration. It really raises how you experience life. And it allows yourselves to be more open anyway, to receive. Because in giving we receive. But it's not giving, I give you this, therefore you give me that. Or I do this for you, therefore I want that back. It's not about that. It's just about the openness that arises from the ability to see ourselves or to live with ourselves as divine beings, to really remember that that's what we are, and that we are beings of love and in that divinity. And from that place of love, we stand in our power, we stand in our sovereignty, because there is no stronger force on this planet than love. And if we can really sit and live in that loving space, life is perfect. It literally is perfect, irrespective of what's going on, because we can just be emissaries of love. And the love is inside us, the love is around us, the love exists. It just is. And honestly, everything changes. I'm going to turn around and go back now. Got to go to work. Trying to get my dog to come with me. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? That's my thoughts for the morning is, divinity, judgment. So, I was noticing this morning I had some judgment voices in my head. And then I reflected those judgment voices that I had about somebody else back to me. And I thought, oh, that's me, isn't it? And then I thought to myself, well, if I remember that I'm divine, there is no judgment. It's just love. And I can accept. But we also need to honour those parts of ourselves, those wounded parts of ourselves, where the insecurity sits, where the unworthiness sits, where the anxiety sits, where all of the parts of ourselves that make us feel small sit. But when we're in our divinity and we're really in that powerful place, it's a really powerful place of love. Actually, we're really in alignment. We're really solid. We're really connected. And it's a very beautiful vibration to live in. And I think that if the world could live in that place rather than the complaining and the judgments and the this and the that and the other. And I know life's not easy. I mean, I have aspects of my life that also don't feel easy at all. Not at all. I could curl up on the bathroom floor and weep around, actually. And sometimes I do that. And that's okay too. But I don't sit in it. I don't wallow in it anymore. I used to, but I don't do that anymore. And I just come back to my divinity. Just come back to my divinity. Just come back to that love that resides inside me, inside all of us, actually. And then if we see other people through the eyes of love, you just love them. You don't judge them. You just love them. And isn't that beautiful? Wouldn't that be the best way of living? I'm sure it's the only way forwards for this very fractured planet that we're, and fractured and fragmented world that we're living in at the moment, where there is such deep suffering. And, but out of our personal suffering, I'm not talking about the collective suffering of things like what's happening in Gaza and things like that. But what I am feeling like is that, all of us who are not there are responding to it. Yes, absolutely. But often with a great deal of heartache and pain, actually, of helplessness and so on and so forth. But and anger and frustration that this is even allowed to happen. But if we just come back to the individual self that holds love, and teaching ourselves to hold love, because ultimately the healing of this world can only come from love. There is no other place that the healing of this world can come from. And that love is divinity. And the more that we can reconnect ourselves, the more that we can find ourselves sitting in that deeper resonance of love, the easier life becomes.